Oh, the bangs are, they're going a little too hard. Happy Pride, everybody! Hello, friends. May has come and gone, and oh my god. I actually think I read some really good books, like possible new favorite books and a really disappointing book. But we are gonna talk books I've read and books I want to read for Pride. It's gonna be very chill because, not gonna lie, I'm gonna show you a reverse of my room right now. Okay, y'all, it's time to de-influence myself. My room, hot mess, as always. But also, my hair looks cute, so give me credit. It is Sunday and I'm in the middle of doing laundry. So we have clean laundry here that I need to hang up. Is this clean? No, this isn't. Wait, this is clean. This is clean. That's dirty. We still have the mural going strong if you watched the last vlog. But yeah, and there's a new decal that I don't really like on my wall. And I still have to hang photos up. But I screwed this into the wall. Look at me, Bob the Builder. So, still a hot mess. Can you see the glitter on my eyes? How pretty. She's messy, but she's getting there, okay? She's getting there. I'm trying to maximize the cozy vibes. And it's a work in progress. So in May, I actually was attempting to do the Asian readathon, but I failed. But in my pursuit, I did find a new favorite. I can see why it's an international bestseller, guys. Woo woo woo. Jiyoung, born 1982. I almost forgot the date. This is almost a generational story, but we are following a young woman who's just become a mother and the struggle of doing that with so much cultural backlash is like the only way I can explain it. I honestly think mandatory reading for everyone and every man. I really enjoyed the second half when we dived into motherhood more. It was insane because you just don't think about like the literal lives being affected by being a mother and how many mothers, like half our population, like moms are so crucial to every family dynamic. And it's just crazy to think about how we just don't consider them so often. But the cultural impact of what happens to women who give birth and want to pursue passions but can't because their body literally needs to have this break and they don't know how to reassociate back into society after. Even having a degree doesn't help you sometimes, and that's insane to kind of erase the person you were because you're now a mom. And that has to be your full attention, but also you're being mocked for that being your full attention. Literal favorite, 5 stars. I loved it, and the writing style was also really good. I love how it was like short but packed such a great punch. Oh, and the ending of this book, I was so pissed. I will insert some clips of me in the vlog I was attempting to make here. Reading not too bad. I made it to page 64, which is the farthest I've gone so far in this book. I think last time when I accidentally DNF'd it, it was around the 30 or 50 page mark. So I think I have 100 pages left. Did I even explain to you the story structure of this novel? I'm clearly not a good booktuber. Whoa. Okay, we started off the book in present day situation where we're following Kim and Jiyoung. I think you would pronounce it Young, not Jiyoung. Correct me if I'm wrong, pretty please. But we follow our main character, present day. She has like a 1-year-old child or something, maybe a 3-year-old child, like a baby. And she started to act real weird. Like real weird. And she's calling, well, I won't go into the details, but it's gotten to the point that her husband is looking for extra care for her. And then we flip to her childhood, her being a baby, and then her elementary years, her middle school years, her high school, and then now we're approaching college. She's had a very interesting upbringing, and I think a lot of the points that were made are just so fascinating because the Korean school structure is so pro men. It's so interesting. Like the roster to go eat lunch, men will be first and then women alphabetically. That's how they had it. And then same with like men were allowed to wear sneakers and t-shirts to school under their uniform, but girls only could wear dress shoes. And they'd be like, well, boys need time to play, like they can't sit still. And girls are like, in elementary school, I ran around all the time. It's because I'm wearing this skirt literally in dress shoes. I can't run around anymore. There's a lot of like little things that were pointed out constantly. And the eldest sister, so she's a middle child, she has a younger brother and an older sister, and the older sister really is aware of how sexist the culture is. She's always calling out her mom on it. And you also get a lot of the mom's upbringing too, and you kind of understand, like, she grew up in a world where she wasn't thought of. She didn't have the opportunity to grow at all. She barely got an education and then immediately started working to support her brothers. And it was so sad, and she's trying to do better raising her daughters, but at the same time she's not challenging too much of the norm, but she is doing her very best. And if I look dead inside, it's because I am. Good morning! So I'm still recovering from finishing the book last night, and I was gonna try and wrap up my thoughts, but I'm still just like, I have a lot of feelings, and I'm like, required reading for every male, please, thank you. Yep, that was your girl being disrespected by this book in the best way possible. Oh, actually the first book I read this month was pretty disappointing. It was A Touch of Chaos by Scarlett St. Clair. I literally have the full series of the Hades Persephone series, and I loved it. The first one is so fun, but like women coming of age, understanding their bodies, their desires, but their own passions and their own identities, and just super fun while also dealing with some serious topics. But as the series progresses, it gets more and more just grim and more like a Greek tragedy, which makes more sense with the Hades and Persephone story. But I just really don't know if I was expecting that. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it, so I think I'm gonna come back to the series when I'm more in that mood. I still really recommend the first A Touch of Darkness book, but the rest of the series just hits so hard, and the emotional feels, that I wouldn't say, oh, it's a fun dark romance series. It's dark, and even though I'm rooting for these characters, there's also, the world just got so big and they started adding so many different people, so there's a lot going on. So this felt like a 3-star, but I'm holding out. I still haven't even read, what is it, okay, A Game of Gods, which is the last Hades book. You're technically supposed to read that before this, but I just didn't have it in me. I had read the first 2 Hades books and read all the Persephone books, and there's a lot of background, and for the most part it's interesting, but it was losing me just a hair. So maybe when I'm starting to feel that inkling, I'll get back into it. If not, I might have a lot of books to unhaul. But I do feel like A Touch of Darkness is so chronically readable. The last book that I read for this month, so exciting. Skin and Bone, plural. Skin and Bone. I don't know why I say Skin and Bone and not at the end. I don't know why I'm saying it like Skin and Bones by Renee Watson. If you do not know, hold the phone. Renee Watson is like a favorite author of mine. Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson is a book I scream about. At least I used to, all the time. When I was in college, it was the first kind of YA book that really spoke to me, and I just felt so isolated in my university experience, being like one of the only women of color. There was a few of us hanging in there, but we're like 2% of the college administration. This book, probably one of my most reread books. I thoroughly enjoy it, and after reading Skin and Bones, I definitely want to reread this, just because I feel like Renee Watson gets me. And this is her first adult novel, which I love. So this is a story following Lena, who is getting married. For the first time. She is 40, and she does have a daughter with someone else, and she's figuring out her life, and things kind of fall apart pretty dramatically, and she has to pick up the pieces and kind of figure out how to love herself. This has a lot of fat representation, which I highly recommend. I was reading this book just thinking about my mom and all these strong women in my life who are of a different size than me. I'm a fucking toothpick, and I just happen to be the one who's diabetic. It's how the dice rolled, you know? It's a part of life. And this book has so many great conversations about how to navigate those conversations that we continue to have, like the microaggressions in the fat community about fat people and how they feel and how they should be perceived and how they don't deserve high fashion, or, you know, we can't promote, like, we can't do fashion for fat people because that promotes being unhealthy. It's like, healthiness, not healthiness is up to the doctor's discretion, the individual's discretion. Till then, most of our population, me talking about America, are people who are overweight and fat. That's most of our population. That's the diet we're living, that's the lifestyle we are producing. So are we just gonna ignore those like millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and be like, well, just lose the weight? Genetically, do your best, girly, okay? No! And it's like, how do we have these healthy conversations? So I really enjoyed this because it's of a different perspective, but also she navigates faith in such a way that's interesting, because I'm not Christian, but I do consider myself spiritual. So I did enjoy the conversations of faith layered in here. God, I'm talking about this for so much. I just really enjoyed this book, and I can't praise it enough. I think everybody needs to read this. It does not matter if you're a woman. It does not matter if you're black. It does not matter if you are not fat. You should read this. You know what I mean? Like, it was just it's so much about loving yourself. I'm like gonna give it to my mom. I dog-eared so many pages. Wow. It started off, okay, I'm not gonna lie. This may not be a 5-star just because the start was a little slow. Kinda didn't care until like 150 pages where I was like, oh, and then I cared. And then I was like really rooting for this friend group and this romantic relationship and this platonic relationship and all the different relationships within this book about love and womanhood and motherhood. I accidentally had a very heavy mom reading month in May. What up, moms? Okay, moving on. So, happy Pride to everyone. And I'm gonna quickly go through the books that I would like to read this month. I think I'm forgetting one. Oh, yes. Okay, we got her. Now, you see the stack. You see it, right? The stack I read last month, I don't know who I think I am, but I'm hopeful. Starting off in no particular order. Oh my god, I almost dropped him. Oh. We have a cute little romance, Can't Let Her Go by Kiana Alexander, and this is a queer relationship. I just know that they are a part of a really close-knit friend group and they have romantic feelings for each other and they have to figure it out. And it's supposed to be super mature and cute, and like, look at this. Look at it. Look at it. Next, Baby's First James Baldwin that I'm holding upside down. I'm scared. Some of his classics, like, I understand are a classic and super well written, but a lot of people are like, this plot doesn't make sense. It did not age well for them. Personally, I'm thinking of one specific booktuber who did a whole video about Giovanni's Room, which I'll link below if you're interested in watching. But I've heard good things about Go Tell It on the Mountain, so that's where I'm starting with James Baldwin. And I do want to read the rest of his work, just because he is such a profound, like, just writer and queer member of like our history. I just feel like you can't go out your whole life without reading James Baldwin. I feel like that's a little offensive, you know what I mean? I don't want to offend nobody, so I'm gonna do my due diligence and do my homework and read some books. Next, gosh darn it, I'm hoping to read When They Call You a Terrorist, the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's go. It's a memoir started by a black woman. You might be like, Jess, that ain't queer. What are you doing? Good question, friend. I think I want to read this for Juneteenth, and I also want to read something specifically about Palestine in June, because I just feel like it's been such a touchy subject on the internet, and I feel like now people are finally feeling open to talking about it. So I will link down below some resources about Gaza, what's happening, and if you want to donate, please do. It's sad. But again, doing my due diligence and reading about the history, and it's like the least I can do. Yeah, we're starting here because this is a lot of people's favorite books. They always comment in my videos, oh my god, it's my favorite book. And I haven't read it, and it's so tiny, so short, packs a punch. There's also, I think, Angela Davis's, she talks about Palestine in it too, which she did get backlash when it was first published. Freedom is a Constant Struggle. That's the other one that I also want to read. I really hope to get to it. Now this one actually, I might have to take it off the list because I was just looking at possible queer lit on my shelves and looking for like classics or standalones or something, and the picture of Dorian Gray. I read this in high school. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read shit in high school. I spark noted this book and I don't remember if I liked it or not, and not me literally getting an audition notification mid-video. That's how you know I'm an actor. Life updates. I booked 2 commercials in May and I'm filming one next week. It's a lot, so I might be taking a break this summer, which is also why I'm excited to read happy fun books, which again, I'm like, happy fun books, is Dorian Gray, yeah, is it a happy fun book? Not really, so I don't know if that'll be a priority or not, but I think it's a fun classic to reread, and it's short and it's very accessible, I've heard. Okay, going down to the last 2 books for Pride. I have Homebodies, which is giving black excellence, hot black women. We love queer women. We love queer black women. Yeah. I think she writes like is it an op-ed? She like writes a steamy article about how she's treated as a black woman in the corporate world. And I feel like this is going to spill a lot of tea and open a lot of eyes. And I'm very excited, especially after reading Skin and Bones, which is very much a woman in a working world where people treat her wrong and poorly, not just because she's black and a woman, but also because she's fat. So I can't wait to see what happens here and how my eyes will be open to new things. That's why we read, people. Everyone read. Read more, please. Thank you. Last book is The Sky Deep. Also queer, but also post like modern.
And then my camera literally died on me and I could not keep filming because I had no batteries. So see you in the next video. Bye-bye.